Hello everybody, in this video demo I'd like to show how we can render the previously created hair dryer using Keyshot. Okay, let's import the model in. By the way, I have made changes to the model and now it has additional parts and details. Okay, now what I'm going to do is to assign materials to the various parts of the hair dryer. Okay, it might take a while, so if you do not want to see this portion, you may want to fast forward this part of the video. Okay, I want to give an anodized look to the rim portions of the hair dryer. Okay, oops, I made a mistake. Okay, let's unlink some of the parts so that we can assign new materials to them. Okay, something like that. Okay, now what I'm going to do is to give the various parts fillets of 1 mm so that the render will be able to catch highlights on the edges for added realism. Okay, going to tweak the textures on some of the parts. Maybe I use a film reflective index to change the colors. Maybe I just use a color value instead. Okay. Now I'm going to copy this material and paste it onto the button to let the button have the same base color as the rim. Okay, now I'm going to apply a logo to the main body, and I'm using the labels function of Keyshot. Oops, I think I made a mistake. Okay, let me redo this. Okay, the good thing about using labels is that we are able to give the label or product graphics a materials that is different from that of the main part. For example, I'm going to give this logo a metallic look as opposed to the plastic base. Okay, now I'm going to add a bump texture, and it will be the same as the one used in the diffuse channel. Okay, setting this to metal. Let's adjust the bump height value. Okay, give it a value of -3. Okay, so you can now see the bump effect better. Okay, now what I'm going to do is to use a new environmental map, and I've downloaded this environment from the cloud library, and I would like to make modification to it to craft it for our intended purpose. Okay, so selecting that image in the HDRI editor and then tweaking it. Okay, so the thing that I'll be tweaking is mainly the contrast, the brightness. Okay, and very importantly also the saturation value. Okay, I'm going to bring down the saturation value so that the image is less saturated. Okay, but we should not bring the saturation value all the way to 0, because in the real world we seldom have scenes that are entirely made of gray tones or just black and white. What I've done is I am adding pins now to brighten the scene and also to give highlights and reflections to our product. Okay, I've added 2 pins and have tweaked the values on them. Now let's work on the buttons. Okay, I think maybe I will want to turn off the bump channel for both the buttons. Okay, I'm going to add a new product logo on the top button. I'm going to add a bump texture in the bump channel as well. Let's scale the image just until they are fitting the button. Maybe something like that. Let's blend the color of the product graphics with the button better. Okay, something like that. Okay, there are additional product graphics on the lower button, but I don't think I want to bore the audience with repeated works, so I will do that application of the graphics after the recording of this video. Okay, let's do some more tweaking. I'm going to use the film refractive index to modify the color of the anodized looking part. Okay, I think I'm more or less done with the material setting. Okay, now I'm going to the image section and add a vignette to give a more realistic look to the scene. And switching over to the photographic mode allows me to have a better control over the rendered outcome. Okay, so I'm tweaking the values of the curves. Okay, maybe I want to adjust the background color a little bit. Okay, maybe I can bring the saturation value a little bit down. Okay, maybe something like that. Okay, with that I almost coming to the end of part 1. There will be a subsequent part. See you. Bye.